What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/Tales from the Customer. Alright, this story's called, I had the most absurdly bad experience at a car dealership, and I had to share it with you guys because I'm at a loss. I typed up most of this last night, but as of this morning, I have an update, which I've included at the bottom. And sorry for the length, I did my best to edit it down to just the basics. After a few months of intermittent issues and several trips to the mechanic, my Jeep finally broke down. I had an appointment at the dealership for last Tuesday morning, September 10th, and scheduled a tow truck to bring it up there Monday afternoon. Long story short, the towing company never showed up, never answered my calls, never called me back, just ghosted. That story probably deserves its own post, but anyway, I called the dealership around 4:30 Monday afternoon to let them know what happened and that I was still coming, but I'd have to get it towed in the following morning. The guy at the dealership said that was no problem. I found a different company that could tow it up there, and I dropped my car off just after 11 a.m. A dealership is around 40 minutes away from my house. I didn't hear from them for a couple of days, so I called late Thursday afternoon to check in. Receptionist takes a message. I hear nothing Thursday or Friday. I call again yesterday morning. Receptionist takes another message. When I hadn't heard anything by 3:30, I call back a third time, get transferred to the service department, and leave a voicemail. Someone finally returns my call at 5:30. The conversation went something like this. Hi, this is Jerica. I'm calling to check on my Jeep that I had towed in last Tuesday.
Oh, right. Well, I don't really have an update for you because we haven't figured out the problem yet.
You've had my car for a week.
I understand, but since you were late for your appointment Tuesday, we've only had a couple of hours here and there to take a look at it, and the guy hasn't really found anything at this point.
But I called you guys late Monday letting you know that my tow truck didn't show up and I'd have to get it towed in the next morning.
Right, but you didn't tell me that you were going to be late. Your appointment was at 8 a.m. and you didn't get here until after 11.
I'm going to interject here for a moment to say that I could be wrong, but I thought it was common knowledge that the towing industry is not known for being the most reliable or predictable, particularly when it comes to scheduling and ETAs. That's just the nature of the business, so I didn't understand why service guy thought I could guarantee a tow truck would show up at my house by 7 a.m. in order to arrive at the dealership by 8, especially when I just had a tow company pull a no-call, no-show on me, leaving me scrambling to find someone else to tow it. Continuing on. When I spoke to you on Monday, you didn't tell me that if the car wasn't there by 8 a.m., you wouldn't be able to look at it for another week.
Well, I figured you knew what time your appointment was and that you missed most of it, so we'd have to fit you in where we could. And you said you weren't in a rush, so we've been waiting for our schedule to clear out a bit to be able to take a look at it, and I have time blocked out on the schedule for it tomorrow.
If you had no room in your schedule over the past week to work on my car, had you been able to diagnose the problem Tuesday morning, when were you planning on making the repairs?
Well, see, that's the thing. Diagnosing the problem takes a lot more time than fixing it, so I had you down last week for 8 to 1, but since you were late, we only had an hour and a half to work on your car, and we haven't had time since to really look at it. Fixing only takes maybe 2 to 3 hours once we figure out what's wrong and get the parts in, so we'd be able to work on it here and there between other appointments.
Also, thinking back on it, I think this is total bullcrap because I remember seeing the appointment book when he was trying to locate my appointment, and I definitely wasn't marked in for a 5-hour block. I was blocked in from 8 to 9, and then other people were blocked in at hour intervals after me. Let me ask you something. If you were a customer and you brought your car to a dealership, would you think this situation was acceptable?
Well, if it was me and I was 3 hours late to my appointment, yeah, I'd figure they'd fit me in where they could. It's not my responsibility if you're not here on time.
I'm just gonna bullet point the rest of service guy's arguments because he He spent almost the entirety of our 15-minute phone call defending himself, talking over me, and blaming me for the fact that after a week, they still didn't know what was wrong with my car. By far, his favorite talking point was that I told him I wasn't in a rush. He said,
I remember what you said. You said you were going out of town that weekend and weren't in a rush. So if it took a week or two, that was fine.
Yeah, I did say I wasn't in a rush, but I was just letting him know that I didn't need the car back as I have a second vehicle and wouldn't be able to pick it up until the following week anyway, in case they got backed up or needed to squeeze in someone who did urgently need their car fixed. Because honestly, service guy looked a bit overwhelmed. I didn't mean to suggest that they had 2 weeks to fix it at their leisure, so to speak, or that I wouldn't prefer to have it back ASAP, and I certainly expected the problem to at least be diagnosed during the week they had it. When I called Thursday afternoon, the receptionist apparently transposed 2 of the numbers in my phone number, and the number he called had a voicemail box that wasn't set up. No, he didn't double check my number in their appointment book. Why would he? How was he supposed to know it was the wrong number? It was a simple mistake. Haven't I ever written down the wrong number? And he didn't see any message from when I called earlier that day. It probably got buried under all of the papers on his desk. He just got my voicemail and was calling me back. He didn't tell me to wait until the day before my appointment to get my car towed in. For all he cared, I could have had it towed in 2 weeks ago. And if I had done that, and they had had a cancellation, they could have looked at my car then and it might be fixed by now, which I found hilarious. And I pointed this out to him because when he was trying to figure out where the tow truck should drop my car, he was complaining about how there's hardly any room in their lot. My car needs to be worked on by a technician who's some sort of specialist, and that tech has only had a limited amount of free time to spare to look at my car. Since I was late for my appointment, the first 3.5 hours of which this special tech presumably sat around doing nothing, just waiting for my car to arrive, I guess? I'm also giving serious side-eye to this claim in general. I remember asking him at one point, "Do you take any responsibility for this situation at all?" Which he answered by telling me, yet again, how I knew my appointment was at 8 a.m. and what did I expect when I was so late. And I said there was no rush and blah 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 blah. So after some back and forth and service guy strongly suggesting that I can come pick up my car, which still wouldn't run, and take it somewhere else, and then backtracking a bit and then reasserting that I should come get my car, I told him I'd do just that and would send a tow truck to pick it up the next day. Then he really started to backtrack, but by that point, I didn't want to leave my car there or have them work on it or give them my money on principle. So my question for y'all, am I crazy or is it reasonable to think he should have told me that if I wasn't there by 8 a.m., I'd essentially lose my slot and have to be rescheduled, especially since I was getting the car towed in? Did they not have other cars they could have worked on between 8 and 11 while waiting for me to arrive? Or called me to see when I'd be getting there? I've been to a lot of different dealerships in my life, and I've never encountered a scheduling system or policy like this. And let's say that, for some reason, this is their policy, just freaking tell me that! That's pretty much my entire problem with this dealership. The total and complete lack of communication on their part, and service guy's refusal to take any ownership in this dispute. I really wouldn't have cared if it had taken them 2 weeks to fix my car, if they had just kept me posted or returned my calls in a timely manner. All I really wanted was for service guy to say some version of, "I'm sorry, we dropped the ball, but I'm gonna do my best to rectify the situation." How hard is that? Update. Got a call from service guy this morning, which I didn't answer because I didn't feel like there was anything left to talk about. I called a couple of hours later to let service guy know that the tow truck was on its way, and guess what? My car was miraculously fixed overnight and it's good to go. And the problem was what they had suspected it might be when I first spoke to them. They can't get it diagnosed in a week, but somehow they can get it diagnosed and repaired between 5:30 p.m. yesterday and 8:30 a.m. today? Shame breaking my damn head. Service guy denies this, but I think they may have totally forgotten about my car until I called them yesterday, and service guy was scrambling to cover his ass. Makes more sense than his various explanations, in my opinion. That's right, that's exactly how you get a reliable consumer base. You treat them like someone might treat a girl with daddy issues. You treat them like crap and they keep coming back. That's a joke, don't do that, that's toxic. This story's called The Insurance Claim from Hell. Long one, but man, was it wearing on me. Okay, this still isn't technically over, but I really need to share it because it's just horrible. I have to get an injection each month of antibodies. For the last few months, I had Medicaid until the state decided that $12 an hour is more than enough for a two-person household to live off of. So that was gone. My wife quickly added me to her work insurance as an emergency ad for a qualifying event. Not ideal, but we had to do something. We checked with her work and the insurance company to make sure it was fine, and they said it was all good. Fast forward to about 3 weeks ago. As far as we know, all is good, even though I had yet to receive my insurance card. It's time to refill my injection, so I give the pharmacy a call. They deliver it through the mail because it's a long way from where I live. It's a specialty pharmacy, so I can't just move it to a local regular one. I let them know the situation, so they connect me to the right person so that I can give them my wife's insurance info, as they said it would work that way. So I give the new guy everything, only to be told that our plan was deactivated. Excuse me? I assured him that it's not, but agreed to give the insurance company a call. I did, and after a 40-minute hold, I get an agent. I try to explain to her what's happening, and she tells me that our plan was deactivated 4 years previously. Not possible, as my wife didn't even work for them until August, and therefore I had no coverage. I told her that was incorrect, and she argued back that it was not. I doubled down, and so did she. Eventually, she told me that my wife would have to call her company's corporate HR to get it fixed, and without a by your leave, she then transferred me to that line. HR wouldn't speak to me, only my wife, so I handed her the phone. HR claimed there was a system bug and that a lot of people's plans had been messed up, but it would be fixed by the 1st of January. Okay, we can wait. First comes and goes. The second, I call the pharmacy again. And look at that! Our plan is still deactivated. Back to the insurance company we go. This goes on for about 2 weeks. During this time, we've collected the call info, verified that that insurance company was taking the increased premiums out of my wife's checks, and kept careful records of the entire situation. HR stopped taking our calls, insurance just started hanging up on me. The pharmacy, though, was working extremely hard to find a way for me to get this injection on time. Real MVPs here. Cut to last Saturday. We've done the research on the price and come up with a plan. We knew the injection would completely wipe our savings. It's just that expensive, even with discounts. We agreed that we could do it once so that I wouldn't end up on bed rest again. So I called the pharmacy voicemail and left a message that if we could not find a solution by Monday, that we would pay out of pocket, as we were out of options. The on-call pharmacist called back to let me know that my case was marked as priority and would be dealt with first thing Monday. In the meantime, we had gathered all of our evidence and had a nice stack ready to go depending on how Monday rolled out. Monday comes. My pharmacy claims agent has been working his butt off and is so angry. He took it upon himself to hound the insurance company about the situation, but they refused to budge, now stating that they would only take calls from my wife from then on. Company HR has disappeared. Can't get a hold of them. So I reassure him that he'd been great and to just charge our account and get the meds shipped. He's upset about it and does it. He also assures me that he's going to keep working on it and also try to get insurance to backdate the meds so that we get our money back. I thank him. Moment of our great plan has come. Unknown to the insurance, we'd taken all of that evidence and made a detailed report to throw directly at the Better Business Bureau. They don't know that I'm a licensed health insurance agent. I knew what they could legally do and that they had crossed that line. We checked my wife's latest pay stub, and sure enough, they'd taken the premium again. So my wife makes the call to them while I've got everything uploaded, and all I have to do is hit send. It was a long call. They wouldn't budge until my wife let them know that we'll involve the Better Business Bureau. Within 10 minutes, they found our plan, found the glitch that made it not show up, and let us know what line to call to check on their progress while they fixed everything and backdated all of our services and meds. They asked for 3 weeks to do all of this and send us our new cards. So technically not over, as they've got 2 weeks left. I've still got all the info, so we may end up enacting Plan Screw Insurance if things don't get done. At any rate, we're still going to file complaints with the proper channels and reviews. I can update this when it's fully over if y'all want to know about it. Okay, so it's one thing if it's something not as essential, like maybe auto insurance or something like that. But this is a man's health, his health insurance, and they're playing stupid like that. That's not fair. Unfortunately, similar things happen all the freaking time, and people can't get the medicine or care that they need, and it's ridiculous.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.